Hey everybody, welcome back. Just got a few things to talk about. It probably will interest you. It interests me. And turn on your TV, okay? You can see what's going on all across the country in major cities and major states everywhere. Uh, it's kind of like you have anarchy in the streets. We've got people out there in the streets who don't like any kind of government for that matter. But we've also got those on the right and those on the left. And they're just kind of going at it, bumping head to head. Now we've had a lot of weird things happen, things that probably shouldn't have happened, but when you like play with fire, you get burnt. Remember that? You play with fire, you get burnt. What we need to do is protect ourselves, okay? And one way of doing that is to make sure you have long-term storable food and short-term storable food. Now, we all know what the long-term storable food is. Stuff like this, I've got that and stuff. That stuff's really good, and you can see over my shoulder 4 Patriots. I've got a lot of that, and that's not bad either. The price is right. No matter what you do, the price is going to be high. No matter anything you buy that's long-term storable. But it's just you need it. If you don't have it, you trust me, you're going to need it, because what's going to happen when all this commotion that's going on in the streets happens more and more and more and gets bigger and bigger and bigger and starts ending up in your neck of the woods, okay? Ends up in your little town or little village or your farm areas or stuff like that in the country, because we don't know. Nobody knows where this stuff's going to end. Me personally, I think, and I'm not alone in this theory, that we're in for a major civil war. A full insurrection in this country is going to happen. And it's probably going to happen sometime, for sure, in my opinion, between now and the 2028 election. Just saying, it's food for thought. You're going to have to prepare for that. The name of the game is to be prepared for what's going to come. And if you're not prepared, it's going to be deep kimchi for you. If these mobs are out there in the streets and they're stopping cars and doing all kinds of stuff, and you need to get to the grocery store, you might not be able to get to the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? They may stop you from going to the grocery store. They may stop you from going to a gas station to get fuel for your vehicles. You don't know. So it's always good to keep your car or truck filled with gas. It's just one of those things. I keep mine full. Once it drops to a quarter, 3/4 of a tank, boom, fill it back up. It drops to 3/4 of a tank, fill it back up. I just don't let it get lower. Same thing with my wife's car. It's just it's a good thing to do. With all this, like I said, the commotion that's going on, you're going to need this and a lot of stuff to go in it, just in case. Protect your home, your family, your friends, and the more people you've got that you can trust that are together in a group, what do you want to call it? A tribe, whatever, however you want to call it, the better. We have a world of hurt fixing to happen, and it's probably going to happen before the 2028 election. Now, like I said, you can turn on TV or go to the internet. You can see it. It's happening now. It's already happening. We're at the beginning, and this stuff's going to get worse and worse and worse. And if you're not prepared for it, you're not prepared for what's going to come, which is a pretty good foregone conclusion, then you're going to be up the doo-doo without a creek, or no pedal, whatever you call it. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, get prepared if you're not prepared. If you're one of these people out there that actually think that nothing is going to happen, nothing, then don't worry about it. Don't worry about going to the grocery store. Just keep a little bit of food on standby and stuff like that. Don't worry about long-term storable food. Don't worry about alternate power sources to power your house. If by some reason the grid goes down, you need generators. You need these, actually, if you can afford them, you need these solar generators, and they're a little cheaper now than they have been. They still cost a bunch of money, but one like Zachary, those are good little generators, solar panels, and, they'll run everything you need to run, almost. They, like for me in my house, they necessarily won't run my heating and air conditioning, but they'll run everything else that I need. That's what you use other things for, another type of generator to put power, into your heating and air conditioning. So you've got heat in the cold. Right now, pretty darn cold where I'm at. I don't know about you, but it's pretty darn cold. And, we had some snow. It's nothing major to speak of, but some places, if you live in those places that had inches and inches and feet of snow, then you know what I'm talking about. You just can't necessarily get out and go to the grocery store. So if you don't have your pantries full of non-perishable food, i.e. spaghettis and pastas, soups, Chef Boyardee, in cans, your canned stuff, stockpile it. Nothing wrong with stockpiling food. You don't have to tell anybody, don't tell, but don't brag to everybody, hey, I'm stockpiling all kinds of food. Don't tell nobody nothing. Just don't. They don't need to know. Your personal family needs to know, obviously, and those who you're counting on is going to be with you in times of crisis, they'll know, and they should be doing the same thing. But you need a water source, and you need to be able to purify water, because you have to have water, because without water, you're cooked. You know what I'm saying? And you can have all the food you want, but without any water, it's c'est la vie time at some point. So what I'm just saying is be prepared, like the Boy Scout motto, be prepared for what's coming. And we all know it's coming. We can see it coming. You can watch it coming. It's starting. It's everywhere. Like the name of the channel, it's beginning. It's beginning. And if you're one of these people who are not ready for it, get ready. If you're someone, like I said, if somebody, some people out there don't think anything ever is going to happen, and, I got part of them in my family, I'll do my best to take care of them if I can, but they're not preparing for anything, and nothing. And, one of these days they're going to wake up one morning and it's going to smack them in the face, and they're going to go, Uncle Bob was right. You know what I'm saying? So just get ready, be prepared, make sure you have plenty of food, water, supplies, medical, ammunitions for your, and a plan. Make a plan. Know what you're going to do if things really get out of hand, which at some point they're probably going to get really out of hand. And all this stuff that's going on in these cities now is going to be all over the place. Like I said, there's going to be an insurrection. We're going to have most likely a civil war, which is the worst thing we ever would want in this country. But it's going to I just feel in my heart that it's going to happen. I could be wrong. I don't think so. And there's a lot of other people that think the same way. So do yourself a favor. Get your food, long-term storable food. Make sure your pantries are full. Maybe if you have big wooden lockers and stuff, make sure they're full. It's nothing wrong with stockpiling food. I've said this before. There's nothing wrong with stockpiling food. Just don't tell nobody about it. All right, then, hey, look. Extra power source. You need that. Short-term storable foods. Long-term storable foods. Ways to access and clean water. Ways to defend yourself. Very important. Very important. So just make sure you do that. And like I said, have a plan. Write it all down. Write it all down with what you have already stored, and see what you're missing, and see where you could fill in more, and do that. If you're smart enough, you already got the stuff ready. We're ready for it. But there's always something you can use. Now's the time to get it. Some stuff you may want to get, may buy, may cost a little more than it did. Well, it's not going to get any cheaper, so you might as well go out and get it. So that's just me. That's just talking to you. And I just want you to be prepared for what is to come, okay? Because there's nothing you or I can do about it to stop it. So we got to be ready for it. So that's being prepared for it. So call yourself a prepper, call yourself a preparer, whatever you want. Just be ready for it, all right? All right, hey, look, until we talk again, thank you very much for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Be safe out there. Stay warm if you're in cold weather, which is probably a lot of places. So just be safe, and we'll talk to you later. All right? Catch you later. Boop. It's still on. How come it didn't go off? My bad.